aftermath of one of the blast scenes. You can see what happens to the trees. It just shreds them. It just takes everything and just knocks everything, branch, leaf, everything off of them. Here's a couple of the wheel mills that went up in the aftermath of that. You can see the bent girders. The wheels are all knocked askew. This is a press mill blast also, and some people died around that, let me tell you. This is a scene from an aftermath of one of the blasts down here. And of course, who died? Did my son die? Did my husband die? Am I a widow?
How many explosions do you estimate that they had while it was in the works?
I've counted 50.
Wow.
Explosions and or major fires. Is where these big 7-ton iron wheels were.
Look at that.
The bed, the iron plate bed would be here. The overhead gear would be here. And those wheels would rotate round and around and around and around. And they would grind the gunpowder from anywhere from 4 hours to 8 hours, depending on the quality of the gunpowder that they wanted to manufacture. First ghost story I'll tell you happened, we believe, in one of these three. There's that building next door was one of these, and that building next door is one of these. They just built houses on them, that's all. Soon after an explosion where 2 men died here. And this came from the Santa Cruz Sentinel, so it must be true, right? The night watchman came by with his kerosene lantern and stopped and swore he saw both men here waving at him.
Oh, Jesus.
They waved, they did all kinds of funny this, that, and the other thing. This guy apparently was a teetotaling Presbyterian, so he wasn't given to fanciful kinds of storytelling. And he swore. He swore that he saw them there, and then he quit. He said,
I would have quit too.
I'm not going back. He said, not going back.
What was the date?
I don't remember the date. I tried to find it this morning. I couldn't find the date, but I'll find it. I have it.
Great.
I have it.
I'll go run that.
I have it. Anyway, he was quite frightened, and he seemed a genuine kind of witness. All right, here we are at the site of the great explosion of 1898. On April 27th, 1898, about 5:15 in the afternoon, there was a horrific explosion here where several tons of gun cotton, that's the stuff made out of nitroglycerin and stuff, went up. Followed shortly by another explosion when the nitroglycerin cooling in the creek here went up as well. Followed by a third explosion, and they don't know what the source of that was. 13 men and boys were instantly killed here. They found body parts on the hillside here up to a year afterwards.
A year?
Up to a year
Oh
afterwards.
my God.
Downtown Santa Cruz, they felt the ground bounce. They felt dirt came right off the ground. Then the shock wave came down the San Lorenzo and hit the town like a slap in the face, broke windows, knocked doors ajar, and sent fiery debris up on Mission Hill.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
It was a big deal.
Do they know what caused the initial explosion?
No. Everybody was killed who was anywhere near that explosion.
How many people were killed?
13 men and boys, including 2 sets of brothers. 9 of the bodies are in a mass grave down at the end of where Graham Hill Road meets Powder Mill Road, or sometimes known as Ocean Street Extension, which I think is a terrible name. It's really Powder Mill Road.
That is horrendous. That is horrific.
The town immediately started rushing up here to see what they could do. They knew what happened. They knew it was bad, really bad. And they wanted, One of the reasons they wanted to gather here was because either everybody knew somebody who worked here or they had a relative who worked here. This was a small town. Santa Cruz was a fairly small town. And if something like this happened, it hurt everybody. So they started rushing up here. They were stopped at the front gate just in time for a fourth explosion to happen. This time it started fires. This hillside caught fire. The fire started migrating down towards the entrance to Paradise Park, or the entrance to the Powder Works, where the magazines were.
Oh, Jesus.
So they called the Naval Reserve from Monterey to fight the fires. And they fought the fires and they stopped them before they got to the magazines. If the fire had reached the magazines, the whole town of Santa Cruz would have been in jeopardy. They caught it in time. But several houses in the village burned. Okay, several of the homes of the powder mill workers burned. And the school was in jeopardy. The Powder Works had a school here for 40 years, where they one-room schoolhouse. So the county pretty quickly after that said, "Hey, this is a dangerous place. You're not making black powder anymore. You're making really serious stuff called gunpowder, and it's much more dangerous, and it's putting a lot of the area in jeopardy. We're not so sure we're happy with you guys anymore."